it's me, Katherine, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am dishing the dirt, I am spilling the tea, I am sharing thoughts I have not previously discussed on the internet prior to this moment to the best of my knowledge. Let's talk about some musicals I hated before I saw them. Question of the day, do you have a show you thought you were gonna hate before you saw it, and then you saw it and you were like, dang, it's alright? Tell me about it in the comments down below. Today's video is also brought to you in part by Skillshare. Skillshare is not only an online learning community, but it's been the only thing helping me retain my sanity during quarantine. Be sure to stick around because I'm going to talk about Skillshare a little later, including how to get 2 months of Skillshare Premium for free. So huge thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. So I do have some shows that I kinda hated before I saw them. Like, these are the shows that I would listen to the cast album and I just would not understand the hype. I researched them, I checked them out, they were on my radar, and it wasn't for me. Then I ended up seeing the shows live and I fell in love with them. Well, kinda. Let us begin with the show that inspired this whole video. The Full Monty. I have the most distinct memory of driving like 3 hours to see a production of Full Monty with my mom.
That's all right.
Like me.
No!
We see a lot of theater and we try to support local theater, and especially growing up, if there was a show being performed like in our general area and we hadn't seen it, we'd make a little road trip out of it and go see the show. However, due to traffic, it took about 3 hours to get to the theater where we were supposed to see Full Monty. So we're on the road, we are in like gridlock traffic. My mom turns to me and she says, "Hey, do you want to put on the CD of Full Monty so we can acquaint ourselves with the show before we see it?" And I say, "Sure, Mom." So I fire up the CD and immediately we start questioning our sanity. To say that this album was not for us would be the understatement of the century. You know when you just start like uncontrollably laughing because you're so shocked and frustrated and you don't know what else to do, so you just start laughing at everything because life is a cosmic joke? We were in hour 3 of Los Angeles traffic to go see a show that we knew we were going to hate. So we finally get to the theater, we find our seats, we sit down, we look at each other, we cannot believe that we are going through with this, and then magic happened. The production that we saw of the Full Monty was so endearing. It was heartfelt, it was funny, it was empowering. By the end of the show, the entire theater, ourselves included, were cheering at scenes. Like full on clapping at line deliveries, that invested. We gave it a standing ovation. In fact, my mom is the one who started cheering at the very, very end of the Full Monty, if you're familiar with the show and if you get what I mean. My mother is the one who stood up and started cheering for all the guys, and then the rest of the audience followed suit. Like, everyone was like, yeah, you guys rock it, you do you. It was incredible. I cherish that memory so much, seeing that performance of the Full Monty, the whole experience. It was so enjoyable, and honestly a really interesting lesson in not judging a show by its album. You know, you need to fully experience a piece of art in the way it was intended to be experienced before you can really judge it, I guess. That being said, I still don't really want to just listen to the cast recording of the show, but dang, I will drive 3 hours or more to go see any production of the Full Monty I can. Super fun. One that I'm sure that almost everyone who's taken up my recommendation on checking out the show can probably relate to: A Little Night Music. Again, it's one of those shows that you need to see live. The music is great, it's Sondheim. You know that this is just a Sondheim fan club at this point, and honestly not mad about it, but it's the character development, it's the analysis of the songs and the scenes, it's the work that the performers do. And I think that might be because it's a show that's so relationship heavy and the scenes are really important to the development of the plot, that the music as like a standalone cast recording doesn't do a ton for me. I mean, for instance, Send in the Clowns is like one of the most famous musical theater songs of all time, and it's never really done anything for me, frankly. I know that it's a classic, I respect its place in history, but it's just not for me. Then I finally saw Little Night Music, and when they got to Send in the Clowns, it just clicked. And that song destroys me. I have such a new understanding of what makes that song that song. While we're on the topic of Sondheim, let's discuss Merrily We Roll Along. Disclaimer, I've never just like read the libretto of Merrily We Roll Along, but every time I see a performance of it, I am so floored by the book. I love the scene work, I love the character development. I think it's a really important story that doesn't get discussed in depth enough in musical theater, and that's friendship. I think a lot of musicals really focus on romantic relationships or like hookups, or sometimes even family, but you rarely get to see an in-depth view into a long-lasting friendship. And I think that's what Merrily We Roll Along does so well. It's that story that makes the show so great to me. Yeah, now I just like really want to see a production of Merrily We Roll Along. I miss live theater so much, you guys. That's all I can think about right now. Two shows that are sorta on this list: Avenue Q and the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. Let me explain why these are sorta on the list. So when I first listened to these shows, like for the first time ever, I immediately got it. I fell in love with it. I thought it was super funny, and I love the shows. And that still stands true to this day. Subsequently, however, I don't find myself gravitating towards those albums, like just to listen to. Like, I absolutely adore Spelling Bee. Like, I love, 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 love Spelling Bee. I've been in it. I got asked to do it a second time, and that was by far the hardest no I've ever had to give, because I am dying to do that show again. I think Spelling Bee has so much heart and so many laugh out loud moments, and I have absolutely zero interest in listening to the cast recording. And don't get me wrong, the cast is phenomenal, and I like the music. The I Love You song absolutely ranks at the top of my favorite contemporary songs, but I think this is such an example of a show that really shines live. For me, it's the funny asides and the little improv bits and the new takes on like iconic moments from the show that make it so special to me. The cast recording is good, but the full Spelling Bee experience is life-changing. And it's the same with Avenue Q. Again, great music, but the comedy really shines live as a full experience. Another show that's kinda sorta on the list, but not really, Big Fish. I like that I said fish while I'm drinking water. Cause fish need water. Big Fish is my favorite Tim Burton film. It is a movie that without fail makes me ugly cry every single time. And what's really cool about Big Fish too is that the musical version of it doesn't even feel like an adaptation of the film. It really just feels like its own separate entity, and I mean that in a good way. So where I'm going with this, I love Big Fish the movie, I love Big Fish the musical, and I've tried to convert many, many people into the Big Fish fandom, I guess. And every single time it is so insanely hard to get people on board with the show. And I think what I finally figured out is that it's one of those shows that you have to experience. You have to see the magic. You have to see this world that is larger than life. It's one of those shows that frankly it's pretty difficult to follow what's going on in the story just based off of the album, because half of the story is fake. And I only just realized that when putting this video together. So now I understand why people have such a tough time getting on the Big Fish bandwagon, and now I know how to remedy that so I can get them to fall in love with Big Fish and ugly cry with me. And now for something else I absolutely adore, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. Explore new skills, develop already existing interests, and get lost in creativity. If you're uncertain about what's next, creative challenges and productivity classes can be a great way to help you structure your time and set up achievable goals. Drawing, writing, or journaling classes are a great way to help manage your stress, practice mindfulness, and help you feel connected to others. Skillshare offers membership with meaning. You can connect with fellow creatives and join a community of encouragement, communication, and inspiration. So whether you're looking to fend off boredom, practice self-care through creativity, or join a community, Skillshare is the place to keep you learning. Right now, I'm loving a class on minimalism with Erin Boyle. Admittedly, I can be a bit of an organizational freak, and I never really thought the minimalist lifestyle would be for me, but Erin's class takes a whole new approach. It's not about getting rid of everything you own, it's about being able to breathe a sigh of relief in your living space, feeling like your home should be fresh and simple. So even if the minimalist aesthetic isn't quite your jam, there are so many fantastic takeaways from this course. Skillshare is currently giving away 2 free months of Skillshare Premium to the first 1,000 people. 1,000! Who click the link in my description box to help explore your creativity. And after that, it's only around $10 a month. Tell me about musicals you hated before you saw them in the comments down below. I hope you guys are having a great day. I love you so, so much. Break a leg, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!